So do you want to play High School Musical or Girls' Life Sleepover Party?
Al, those games are absolutely ridiculous. What you want to do is you want to get some of this.
That's porn!
Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of Console Shot. I'm Trev.
I'm Al.
We're back again. Thank you for watching the very first episode. We were actually a bit blown away by the amount of hits and views and stuff it got, and the comments. Thank you for watching our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Today, we're going to be a bit different to the first episode.
Yeah, we're going to be reviewing just a particular handheld. This time It's going to be the Game Boy Advance, but we're going to give a little bit of a history just before that as well. Yeah,
so you get all the lowdown on where it came from and what it did, and some of our favourite games.
Bit of a spoiler here as well for you.
Yeah, he has a Nintendo 64 and a Game Boy over his nipples.
It's the family tree. Well, that's where they're supposed to be, though, isn't it? So.
Well, when you showed me your family tree last time, it wasn't a T-shirt. Let's put it that way. Anyway, what we're going to talk about now, we're just going to see what games we've been playing. Because it's been a while since the last episode. So, Al, what games have you been playing recently?
Well, seeing as I've just got back from Canada, so I've just been sort of travelling around.
You didn't play any games there?
For me, it was a mobile game. It's a game called Impossible Road.
All right.
Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
It's
some kind of road building game.
Not road building game. No, it's like it's kind of like a roller coaster type thing where you just got a road that's just all squiggly, and you just control the ball that goes along it, and it is almost impossible to actually keep it on that thing.
Like Marble Madness or something.
A little bit, but the ball will actually jump. You can skip bits of the road, and you go through checkpoints, and that's how you score. And it's just crazy addictive. And takes about 3 seconds to actually pick up and go.
That sounds like a great game.
Shut up.
Yeah.
So what game have you been playing?
I've been a bit more retro actually. I've kind of kept the retro theme going.
A bit more retro?
A bit more retro, yeah. Because that was quite modern, that game there, right?
It's very modern. It's flipping this year.
Like on mobile phone.
It was 2013, crazy. Yes. Yeah. So how far back are we going?
Well, I guess you did mention that you think maybe PS1 is the cut-off point for retro games. I've actually been playing original Xbox games, but Capcom 2D fighters. I managed to get a whole bundle of Capcom 2D fighters for the Xbox. I've been playing Capcom vs SNK 2 and also SVC Chaos, Marvel vs Capcom 2 and King of the Fighters 2003. So it's not famous for its 2D fighters, but I've got a whole bunch of them. I really love Capcom fighting games. I'm actually really enjoying SVC Chaos, which is an SNK made Capcom vs SNK game. Kind of a bit underrated because people prefer the Capcom v SNK, which is made by Capcom. God, there's a whole episode we're going to do on this. I'll explain it. Take a to explain it. Yes, I've been playing that. That's the game we've been playing, alright? I've been playing all those games. Right.
So it's just basically fighting all round then?
Of the 2D variety.
Of the 2D variety?
Yes.
Cool.
So let's see what the M&M games guys have been playing, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hi guys, well in the last month or so I've been playing a lot on my Vita, because you can't beat a bit of Vita. I've been playing Dragon's Crown, and it's been an absolutely awesome game, basically made by Vanillaware. It's like a sort of scrolling beat 'em up like Streets of Rage, but with the collectibles and the levelling up system of Diablo, which someone else is going to be talking about in a second. And I've just absolutely really addicted. I put nearly 20 hours in, and I'm up to the hard setting now, and I've nearly got all of my talismans. So I would really sort of recommend that to people, because I've really enjoyed it. But I don't mean it's a game for everyone. But if you like Diablo, if you like Odin Sphere, it's definitely a good game for you. And another good thing is on the Vita as well, which at the moment is my favourite system. So, Dan, I'm doing a video, mate. What are you doing?
Oh, hey, yeah, yes. I've been playing Diablo, actually. Speaking of the same kind of thing, high fantasy, I've been playing the console version. I actually really like the console version. It's 4-player co-op, all on one screen, which is harkens back to like your old stuff, like all the way back to maybe Gauntlet or even like Baldur's Gate and such. It's really, really fun. They've done a good job of porting it. It looks great as well. Still hasn't actually got the PC version when it came out, but we were struck by all the issues that it had in the beginning. And I think you dropped it a little bit.
I completed it. I did really well. I did alright. I beat Diablo at the end. I did alright. Thanks, Dan. Speak for yourself, mate.
Yeah, well.
2-minute wonder.
There you go. console version though, good fun. I'm playing a monk, which is great because you stand in front of things and punch them forever and win. As well as Diablo, I've been playing a lot of my older retro stuff as well. Went back to my old style rhythm games. I love rhythm games, so I've been playing a lot of them. I think Rhythm Gangoku, Dancing Stage again.
Samba de Amigo?
No, I hate Samba de Amigo.
Oh,
I hate it.
So now we get to talk about the Game Boy.
Yes.
So here's the one that kick-started it all off.
The original Game Boy, yeah. So this came out in 1989, I think it was 1990, over here. This is actually my first ever games console before I kind of upgraded to a television-based one. You could go for hours on about how amazing this is. One of the biggest selling consoles of all time. And yeah, famous for Tetris. We talked about some of the games last time.
And trying its best to squeeze what they've done with the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah.
It's such a small package with the D-pad and everything as well, which was kind of a first for them in anyway.
Yeah, and it's kind of a common thing now, isn't it, where you've got to try to miniaturise the home TV-based console into a handheld. So yeah, you got like Castlevania and Mega Man and Super Mario, little like NES versions to take with you.
And Sega then came out with this, the Game Gear, which was actually quite good. It had a colour display and everything, but battery life was terrible.
Yeah.
And the thing with this, what made this win out, is because batteries lasted ages.
Yeah.
The less you're having to ask your parents for new batteries, the better it's going to be for you.
It's got a green and black screen, and it's not backlit, so you had to be in direct sunlight. Well, actually, maybe not direct sunlight, you'd be able to see much, but in a lit area to be able to play it. There were kind of accessories that backlit it, or front lit it. But it wasn't too great in dark, situations. But it didn't really matter because you got stupidly good battery life.
And you're talking 4 AA batteries in that. This took 6.
Exactly.
It's got 2 bloody bays in it.
Just like turn it around. I want to see how many bays there are in there. Too many bad memories. And yeah, it sucked the batteries up because it had a backlit screen. So great, you play it in the dark. And it was also had as I already mentioned, a colour screen.
The Game Boy Pocket. They actually managed to shrink the darn thing. Now, this was the kind that I got. I actually got this. But what? Did you ever get one of these?
No, I actually just had the original.
How much did they retail at? Can you remember?
I remember the original was, I think it was £70, so I think that was about the same, I think.
Okay, guess how much I got mine for, brand new.
Brand new? Was this when it came out, or around the time it was still active? Or
it's still active, so pre-Game Boy
late 90s
Color,
sort of thing?
Yeah.
80 quid or something?
I opened a bank account with Halifax for £10 deposit, just to open the account, and then for an extra 15, got one of these. I loved this darn thing. And then my dad made me lend it to my sister.
Wait, out. Let me put my arm on your shoulder while you say this, because this is quite bad. Going out.
She broke the screen.
Say it again.
She broke the screen. She broke the screen.
Right. Does that feel good?
And mine was the same colour, and I missed this thing.
Sorry, I'll have to. That was just really such a sob story.
Can
we put some like footage? We'll put some like audio of like violins playing or something.
I need a minute.
Yeah. So Al's just going to go over there and console himself. He's sort of stroking the put the Game Boy down, Al. Put it down, not down there. Take it out of your pants. Out of your pants. Right, we're going to have to cut it.
So that was the Game Boy Pocket. We've also then ended up getting the Game Boy Color, which is a bit thicker, but came with colour.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird one though, wasn't it? Because it didn't really have, it was only around for a couple of years, and it was still not backlit.
It was compatible though,
it was backwards compatible.
Tried to improve the palette.
Yeah, and we have obviously different variations of colours, like there was with the original Game Boy and the Pocket. And yeah, but it had a slightly faster processor. I think the screen was, compared to the Pocket, which had the larger screen, they're about... Actually, the Game Boy Pocket's got a larger screen.
I think the classic games got about 4 different colours out of the palette or something like that.
It was like the Super Game Boy, which is the accessory for the SNES that let you play Game Boy games on the TV. That kind of added colour, but not really like a Game Gear game has colour.
But then you did have colour, like dedicated games. Like
yeah, exactly.
For just that particular.
And they wouldn't run on the pre... Or some of them would be a regular Game Boy game, but it would have an actual proper palette. It was kind of, there's a lot of weird variations and things like that.
And that came out about a month after I got my Pocket.
I was going again. Ow, professional.
Okay, I'm sorry. Right, so, after that, that's when we moved on to the Advance.
So this was kind of rumoured for a while, wasn't it? Everyone was like, when are you going to make a colour Game Boy? And I don't mean Game Boy Color, I mean actual sort of real full colour backlit screen. And actually, Dan knows what the code name for this bad boy was.
Yeah, originally it was known as the Project Atlantis.
Project Atlantis. And why do you think it was called that, Dan?
Because they put it underwater.
Yeah, it was underwater in a secret manner, which is like Atlantis, isn't it? Nintendo were quite lame with their code names, aren't they? Like Project Reality for the N64, and what was the GameCube?
Was it
Dolphin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one that was like Revolution? Wasn't that the
That was the Wii. Yeah,
That was
Nintendo
actually
Revolution.
a better one. That was actually almost better than the console's actual name.
Exactly. I mean, Revolution, Wii. So yes, this is the first version of the Game Boy Advance, and it was a big step forward in terms of like processing power. It did have a full colour screen, but what was the issue with the full colour screen on this?
There were no backlight.
Yeah.
You couldn't see the darn thing.
So it was no more advanced in that sense than the original Game Boy, but it was
weird
colour.
that the controls were at the side. Like no more were they sat below.
Yeah, it's more kind of like a Game Gear or a landscape orientation. So I guess in some ways it doesn't feel quite as cramped like a controller that you would have for a console. But yeah, I mean, it was now at a 32-bit processor, which is a huge improvement over the original Game Boy's 8-bit processor. But it kind of got games that were more like Super Nintendo sort of remakes, which is great because, you know, we all love the Super Nintendo. It was a fantastic console. But just like the original Game Boy, it got loads of variations, didn't it, as well? This is the first one. 2 AA batteries as well. But probably wouldn't recommend this if you're going to be getting a Game Boy Advance.
I wouldn't really recommend it at all, really.
So what did they go to from the first version?
Well, then from the Game Boy Advance, we went to the Advance SP.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of took on more of the traditional style of Game Boy, but you can fold it.
Exactly. It's kind of like, I guess, a miniature laptop, and here they are. Got several different colours here.
Little clamshell design as well.
So yeah, I mean, it's probably the greatest, in my opinion, handheld console design ever. I mean, I'm a big fan of like the PSP and the Vita, but in terms of portability, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely tiny. It fits in your pocket. Still plays original Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and also the Game Boy Advance games. But yeah, it's way more portable. It's got a rechargeable battery,
and the standby time is amazing. Like even on really old ones, they can still last up to a month. I mean, I don't know when this was last charged up, but still got battery in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the actual figures are. I think it's about 18 hours of gameplay. The great thing as well is it's got a front lit screen. Basically means that you can play it in the dark. Now, I do emphasise front lit because a backlit screen is actually different. The light is actually above the screen, hence front lit. It means that it will still light up, but it won't be quite as bright as a backlit screen of like a Game Gear.
Some of them aren't always evenly lit as well, like especially some of the aged ones. So that was the SP, but there was also
the Game Boy Micro. And this was basically the last ever Game Boy, or the last ever sort of device of a new design that had the Game Boy branding on it. So it's kind of significant from that standpoint.
They also had lots of different fascias and everything as well, so different styles. This one's actually a limited edition Final Fantasy one.
As you can see, it's got the fascia on there that looks really cool.
In really good condition as well.
And it's absolutely tiny. I mean, the SP was really small already, but just look at the size of that, it's ridiculously small. And it's actually got a backlit screen. So finally we have a backlit screen that's really, really bright. Just like the really bright screens you get on the Game Gear and other handheld systems that it was kind of competing with. At the time you'd have had like the PSP was already out and the Nintendo DS, so we're looking at 2005 actually when the Micro came out.
It's not even that much bigger than the cartridge.
No. The only disadvantage really that I have is it doesn't play original Game Boy games or Game Boy Color games. Probably because it'd have, well, a Game Boy cartridge is nearly as big as, well, it's bigger than the Micro, so it'd probably fall out or you'd knock it and cause damage, which would be quite disturbing. But yeah, it's got a headphone jack as well, of the normal variety, which is great. And the screen.
I'm very excited about that actually. It's
probably the best thing about it.
I like headphones. Well, I'm not big into headphones, but I just like to be able to listen to stuff.
Without adapters?
Yes. When you're in London, you kind of want to listen to something else other than people on the tube.
You don't want to hear the background noise of screaming and like
thing,
and ambulances and things like that, shootings and all that sort of pleasant stuff. So that was the Game Boy Micro. That wasn't the only variation of the Game Boy that you can find.
Yes, it was. Look, we've got the Game Boy, the Pocket, the Colour, the Advance, the SP, and then we've got the Micro. I mean, that was it.
You would think so, yes, but only the layman would think that was where it ends. But there's actually this.
But that's an SP.
Yeah, it is.
So what the hell is different with that compared to the SP?
Let me tell you. So you can see the screen on there is the front lit model, which is what 90% of the Game Boy Advance SPs are, and you got the button there. What does the button there do, Al?
So, well, it changes the brightness from on to off.
Yeah, so you got that button there, it basically turns the screen on and off. So if you're outdoors, you could probably just have it off. Have it off.
You just need it on all the time. I can't think of a time when you wouldn't have it on.
That's a good point, really. So I think it's even worse than the original Game Boy, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playing. But anyway.
It's nice to have a button though. Like,
yeah, if you want to preserve the battery a little bit, and
it's quaint. It's a nice little quaint one,
nice
just
little
right
one.
in the middle.
Right
yeah,
there, yeah. And so this looks presumably like the same Game Boy Advance, just
It
in a
is
red
the same.
shell. It's not. I'm going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
Basically, on the bottom here, you've got the model number, and this one says AGS 101.
So this one must say AGS 001.
AGS 001, so probably nothing too significant. But what it means is, if you've got a 101, you have a Game Boy Advance SP with a backlit screen. So if I turn it on, that's what it looks like. And if you turn the... As you can see...
Wait. Yours was already on. What did you just do there?
So the button here, I can change it from 2 different levels of brightness. So I can put it on just extremely bright to not quite as bright. And you can see the not quite as bright is already far more clearer than the older Game Boy Advance SP. So they basically took the screen off a Nintendo DS, made it a little bit smaller, the DS was out at this time, and put it into a Game Boy Advance SP. They're very hard to get. They were mainly released in the States, the AGS 101s. There was a limited release in Europe. I'm not even sure it even got to the UK. But it was very late in the Game Boy Advance life, literally the last year of it was a very small batch came out with these backlit screens. If you're after a Game Boy Advance, look out for the AGS 101 because you get the absolutely amazing backlit screen. You can play in pretty much any light unless you're literally sitting on the sun, which is probably not likely, but if you are, that's the only scenario when you might not want it, but it's awesome.
I want that one. I want this one.
Ow, yeah.
And one with a headphone port in it too.
No. Ow.
So that's an overview of all the different variations of all the models that came out from Nintendo, and now we're going to take a look at some of the games.
For each of us, we're just going to pick out a game, we're going to talk about it a little bit and just, you know, go through some of the memories of playing some of the great GBA games.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, Game Boy Advance, Trev, what's your favourite game on it then?
Well, my favourite game is Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. So, are you familiar with Kirby?
Yeah, the little guy who goes and eats people and gets their powers.
Yeah,
and
pink
stuff,
kind of
like,
floating balloon blob thing.
First came out on the Game Boy.
That's right, yeah. The first version was Kirby's Dreamland. But my favourite Kirby game is, actually on the NES, it's Kirby's Adventure, which came out after Kirby's Dreamland.
Right.
So it's kind of Kirby 2, but it's not. There was actually a Kirby Dreamland 2, but anyway, what I'm talking about Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland is actually a remake of Kirby's Adventure on the NES for the Game Boy Advance. So he mentioned that the Game Boy Advance has a lot of remakes.
Yeah.
Like the NES classic games, as well as like the Super Nintendo games that got ported across.
Were they just running out of ideas at this point?
There were a lot of them, wasn't there? But it was kind of a point in time when we were kind of gagging to play, like, you know, SNES and NES classics on a handheld, actually, you know, properly done by Nintendo, so it was great.
I suppose those things were actually starting to become retro at that point.
They were. That was when it kind of really started to take off, with, like, especially for the SNES and the, you know, the older Nintendo systems. But yeah, it's got basically all the stuff that was in the NES version, all the same stages, all the same little mini games that are in there. But obviously the graphics have been increased. The graphics look really great. It just takes advantage of the palette and the extra graphical power of the Game Boy Advance. You can save your game, so you can save your progress all the way through. There's actually loads of extra stuff in there. There's extra sub-levels, there's extra mini-games. And if you're a Kirby fan, you should really check it out because it kind of goes back to where Kirby started off as a remake of that second ever Kirby game that was originally on the NES. So Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland is my personal favourite. What about you, Al?
So, well, I'm actually relatively new to the whole Game Boy Advance thing. I've only really had an Advance for about a year, so I've not really managed to explore that much into it.
What did you have at the time then? Did you actually have a handheld or anything, or what were you playing in those days?
Well, mine was my Game Boy Pocket. And like I said, my sister broke. She broke my tent.
Let's not go there again now.
No.
Stop it. Stop.
But in terms of the Advance one, we've got Turtles.
Choose me Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
As long as the game is about a turtle.
So why would it be?
Ninja Turtle. Or a frog. Well, there's Frogger. That's a frog though, isn't it?
That's It's not a turtle in the slightest. That's
amphibian.
a completely different species.
Same ballpark.
Colour.
So carry on. Turtles.
Yes.
Ninja Turtles.
So Yeah, it brings back a lot of stuff from the Super Nintendo with like Turtles in Time, you know, or
yes.
Hyperstone Heist if you're looking at the Mega Drive Genesis.
It's like scrolling sort of beat 'em up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it actually takes place during a region of the 2003 cartoon series, so it actually ties in quite well to that whole cartoon.
And that was a bit darker, wasn't it, than the sort of 80s to 90s TV series?
It was more true to the original comics.
Yeah.
It was actually made by Mirage Studios, so it's
Yeah.
actually more official in that regard to the sort of the early 80s, sorry, well, mid to late 80s classic that everybody knows.
And it was Konami. Was it Konami made that as well?
Yeah.
Who made the Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist? Yeah.
But there's also some bits where they use Mode 7 graphics as well. So there's actually bits where you're going in the sewer, unlike the classics where it's still side on. You're actually just going head on down this entire sewer system.
Pseudo 3D.
Yeah, and it's actually really good. I was actually surprised by that. I wasn't expecting it in the slightest. But
it's quite impressive for a handheld game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually. I must have about 15 games from my advance, and there's only like 2 or 3 that I have that are worth playing. And
yeah, I mean, it got a lot of crap on it, unfortunately, as well. I mean, but obviously, me and Al are big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans, so, and we've been crying out for a good Turtles game, which we haven't really had for about since probably that one.
But the ones based on the 2003 series are really good. So if you're on Game Boy Advance and you do want to get into Turtles, that's definitely the series.
It's probably the closest thing to Turtles in Time, which is the best Turtles game as well. So yeah. So that's me and Al. So let's see what Stu and Dan have as their favourite Game Boy Advance games.
Hi guys, it's Stuart and Dan here now.
Yo.
This game I've got, it is Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2004. It's a really bare game.
No,
That means good.
no, it can't be a bear game. That means very.
It's a very game.
It's a very.
That makes no sense, guys. Use ghetto language in an appropriate manner.
Okay.
There's training on that.
I like this game. It's really jank.
Easy. No, what?
Is that good?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of his favourite games. I think back in the day he actually rinsed it like on the train.
Rinsed it.
Completely rinsed it.
Rinsed it.
Is it like the old school Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah,
like,
basically you just get your little hands and you just battle various characters. And all this, there's no real story to it. It's just basically with the latest cards, which obviously weren't too many of them in 2004. It was just great for playing on a train because the games lasted about 10 to 15 minutes, so you could probably get 2 to 3 games in on my train journey. Obviously, you've got a longer train journey, you may want to play a different game.
If you're flying to another country, which would take a couple of hours, you may want to play the same game several times.
I mean, if you're doing like maybe 12 hours to Australia,
if you're going to the moon,
you probably want maybe 2 or 3 of these games. But 10 minutes a game, I don't know, you could probably do 48 games in a flight.
Well, if you're going to Alpha Centauri, mate, you're like bang on it. You'll finish the game.
Not been to Alpha Centauri.
Oh, it's lovely this time of year.
What's your game anyway, Dan? I can hear it in the background. I can hear it in the background.
Here's one here. This is actually Rhythm Tengoku, also known as Rhythm Heaven, which I mentioned on last week's video.
AGS 101.
There you go.
There it is.
It is a fantastic game. It's made by the creators of WarioWare, but it's a rhythm game. And like, if you play WarioWare, you know it's like, you know, crazy, wacky.
Why don't you show the audience your rhythm?
No. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Love Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Now that's a game that I can really play like for hours and hours on end. It's.
I've got it on the PSP.
Have you got? No, you've got Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
War of the Lions.
That's right, but I've got Final Fantasy Advance, like actual, like advanced. It's more chibi styled. War of the Lions was actually the one on the PS1, but Advance is a whole new story. They actually did a sequel to it on the DS, which wasn't as good really. But like you had your own, you could make up your own like little mini stories and stuff. And I played that game for hours and hours on end. It was fantastic. Also, it's one of the first games, as well as Metroid Fusion, where you actually had a choice of how you wanted the screen coloring to be, depending on what kind of machine you're playing it on. Whether you're playing on the original Game Boy or the Game Boy SP with its backlights as well, or if you're playing it on the GameCube's Game Boy Advance adapter. Each one, there were 3 different settings, and you have, you know, better for each screen. That didn't really make much of a difference, really. It was a nice touch. It's a great game. It's definitely up there on my favourites. So I'd say Rhythm Tengoku. Astro Boy, that's a big one as well.
We had that in last week.
We did. Really good game. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. The storyline is bonkers, but you know, whatever.
Treasure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's treasure. It's a boss rush game, and it's bonkers. But it's actually really good.
Just one more for me, F-Zero. I remember playing that, and I actually used to play it multiplayer. And the first F-Zero game was absolutely, I thought was really good. Smashing. It was super smashing, great. Banging.
Shank.
Wasn't Yank. Jank. It wasn't Jank.
It wasn't for Yanks either.
No, it wasn't Bear.
Americans can't play bears.
No.
Yeah, it's Welsh, though. How do I get back?
So thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed our second ever episode. It's not episode 1. What episode was it? Which is in French. Yeah. Le Two. Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a few things about the Game Boy Advance. Stay tuned. We're going to be posting up another episode very shortly and have more gaming goodness. Yeah. Oh, do you want to say some shit?
A big thanks to the guys here at M&M Games. You know, you should definitely come check this place out, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. You know, just let everybody know about this, because if they don't, then well, they can't see it.
Exactly, which negates the point of video making. So we'll see you next time. Cheers. See ya.
So many thanks to the guys here at M&M Games as well for letting us use their place. So you should definitely come down and check it. Shh. What?
Subscribe.
Rinse still.